So, welcome to Northern Powerhouses, our business success stories series of interviews, where we discuss with local business leaders their backgrounds, their successes, their challenges, and what's really driving them forwards. And this morning, I'm delighted to have with us Anna Winkworth, who's the GM at Thicket Priory. So, Anna, firstly, thank you for spending a bit of time with us. And if you'd like to introduce yourself, Thicket Priory, the wonderful things you do, that would be super.
Yeah, thank you, Chris, and thank you for having me on. It's obviously a pleasure to be able to talk to you about Thicket Priory and have a little chat to you about obviously what we do and what I get to do there, which is obviously be the general manager. And Thicket Priory, I mean, oh, it is just stunning. As far as a business goes, we have got a 35-bed country house in the middle of North Yorkshire countryside. It is idyllic, magical, and surrounded by three sides. We've got a nature reserve, and it is the ultimate way to escape, I dare say, the day-to-day busyness of our lives. And as a wedding venue primarily, we get to host gorgeous weddings where couples will come and they either spend a full weekend with us or occasionally a couple of days midweek, and they get to share special moments under one roof with their nearest and dearest. Around 70 guests can stay under that one roof, which is really unique in knowing that you can have everyone arrive
Yes.
and be with you for 48 hours
Yeah,
plus
super.
and not have to unpack and move anywhere or get cars to a church. Or we have a chapel on site. we've
Wow.
got we've got a garden that has a lake, and we've got an insane team of people to look after you, and we all become part of your wedding celebrations. We join in the party, we become your friends in the planning process. And as much as I talk that we're a wedding venue, there's also a part of our business where we can host events, and
Great.
essentially it's an exclusive hire venue. So
Lovely.
you can take the whole venue, and it is exclusive in knowing that that is also the 35 bedrooms. So, for example, we've hosted GHD, who came and did a product launch, and they had influencers come, they had press come, stay the night, had an amazing wining and dining experience, but at the same time got to show off their products throughout the building and put their signature on the building. We also had Hugh Rice, a jewellers from Hull, who came and they hosted one of their brand events, which was absolutely amazing. That was just before Christmas. So it was Christmas decor, it was sparkly. Obviously, being in jewellers, there was a lot of sparkle around as well. So yeah, we've got an amazing venue that we just love sharing stories about the venue. We love that Bruce, the owner and our chief and commander, has given us this amazing backdrop, this amazing place that has so many stories. And we then get to now tell stories of couples getting married and guests coming to be able to just explore the building and keep it so it's living and breathing. It's history as well and truly alive, which is
Brilliant.
which is so special.
Brilliant. And yeah, I mean, obviously, your passion for the place shines through very strongly. Anyone watching would like to go to your website to start with. There are some amazing images just to get I'm sure, just a feel for what is clearly an amazing place. I'm sure the pictures don't do it justice, but it
No, they don't.
does give you a great an idea of how amazing the place is. So Anna, if we start with talking a little bit about your background, how you got into business and why this particular one for you.
So, in terms of my background, I mean, studied sport management at university. And my aim and my love at that point was I want to be involved with the Olympics in some way, shape, or form. And somehow my path then twisted and turned, and I got on the path to hospitality. And honestly, once hospitality is in your blood, if it is something you love, you can't escape it.
Brilliant.
And that's such a good thing, because you can throw passion into an industry that is all about people. And I got to basically join a graduate scheme that Marriott International Hotels were doing. So studied everything management with them, from how to manage housekeeping to how to work front of house, to how to work on a reception desk, to working in the leisure clubs. And that was where I suppose the leisure club was what got me from sport management into hospitality. And I then did that graduate scheme, and like I say, thrown in the deep end, because as a graduate, you're pretty much thrown into positions where there isn't a manager present. you're given opportunities that might not normally come along as a graduate, that you wouldn't apply for the manager of a conference and banqueting department in a big hotel. But as a graduate, they give you the opportunity, and yeah, hospitality world kind of does throw you in that deep end, and maybe sometimes expect a bit more from less senior people, but that's the best way to learn. And I loved learning. I loved that opportunity. I was there 5 years and then moved into a world of more boutique and more sort of standalone, and had the pleasure of being part of a Michelin star restaurant and hotel. Wow. Where we hosted weddings, and it was beautiful again in the North Yorkshire countryside. And then sort of my final part of the journey there was to be the general manager of both the restaurant and the hotel and weddings. And that was brilliant. But then just moving on in life and where you want to live and what's going on with your relationships and everything like that. It all comes into play for where you then maybe land and end in terms of my current situation, where I'm now I've been here 6 years at Thicket Priory since December 2018. It was a 3-month process of interviews to get this job.
Oh, brilliant.
And I understand fully why now, because Bruce, the owner, he took on Thicket Priory as a venue that had been a home to some nuns. It was a monastery. It was it was a venue that really was not ready for being a wedding venue. Yeah. So he spent 10 years refurbishing it and creating a venue that had the structure, had everything needed to be able to start being a business. And I got to come in and create that business with Bruce, which was very, very special. So yeah, since then we've obviously built the team. When COVID hit, we had to strip the team, and that was a hard thing to go through. And then post COVID, rebuilt the team, and yeah, we're flying now, and it's just amazing. And I couldn't be prouder of where my career has sort of got me to, in terms of how proud I am to say I work for a business like this. I tell everyone about how amazing it is, and it's in the blood, well and truly.
Brilliant, wonderful. Well, as I say, your passion for it clearly shines through in how you talk about things. And looking back, obviously, COVID being a main one, what are some of the biggest challenges you've had to overcome over this last sort of certainly since you joined?
Yeah, I mean, since obviously COVID, I mean, we were in a position where, as a wedding venue, you don't start off by having a booking that then you're delivering the following week. It's a long-term business plan.
Yes, yeah, of course.
So we were in a position of obviously selling weddings that wouldn't have been happening for 12 months, 18 months, and I dare say some of that actually worked in our favour with regards to COVID, because it meant the business wasn't in a position where we had a calendar filled with weddings throughout COVID and then also filled with weddings post-COVID. So we were in a position where that challenging moment of saying, okay, well, we've just started and we're just getting ourselves established. And even from the first wedding we had, guests could not believe that it was the first wedding we'd hosted. They were like, it's the first wedding. I'm like, yes. Oh. Because there was so much thought and so much time put in behind the scenes by Bruce wanting to know that every T was crossed, every I was dotted, and every nook and cranny of the building, every little detail was thought of. And we got to basically then group all our COVID couples together, I dare call them, after we'd hosted 9 weddings from July 19 to March 2020. That's all we managed, 9 weddings, a few events. But then the 14th of March, our last wedding, I remember the bride's dad saying to me, "This will be the last wedding you'll do this year." And I was going, "Please don't say that to me. Please don't say that to me." And it was like 10 days later, we were in lockdown, and we then had, like I say, we built this amazing relationship and group of COVID couples who we just guided them through a situation that none of us had been before. We'd not been through it. And we had an opportunity to move couples without having to incur extra costs, which weddings are not. They're not a cheap thing to do. They're certainly something that can pull on the purse strings. As a premium wedding venue, yes, we are in a world of knowing that we get couples who've got the disposable income to spend on that celebration, but to think that there maybe was venues out there that they were almost having to spend it twice because of the COVID situation. Bruce was really keen, and myself and Becca, who is the wing woman that got me through COVID. We basically we took the business right the way through the whole situation together, with a big whiteboard where we'd sit in the office together and we'd look at this whiteboard of all the dates of the couples that were moving, and some had 2, 3, 4 wedding dates. We used to play a game, and Becca would test me on, right, couple's name, when the first wedding date was, when the second date was, and various details of the wedding, and we got through the insanity that was COVID through just trying to almost see the light in it a little bit. And we got through it. Our team was bigger at the start of COVID, but where hospitality was hit the hardest, I say the hardest, there'll be other industries out there who will say no, we were, but
I think most people would accept hospitality, but by dint of it gets people together. It's COVID's going to be a major problem.
Yeah, it was so hard to sort of see the industry not get the support we needed, and I was out there talking to Sky News, I was out there talking to BBC Look North, just trying to get a bit more of sort of support and put our voice out there as an industry to say, you can't just forget about us and tell us to start working in a different industry. When I've talked to you about this industry, you don't get into it because it's a job, you get into it because it's a lifestyle, it's something you love. So yeah, we did have to make redundancies, and it was really hard because we were such a small team. But where you were looking at a calendar of, okay, 3 months ahead, nothing's happening, 6 months ahead, 9 months ahead, then we got into 2021 and it still wasn't looking any better, and we had to make hard decisions, and it was really tough. But we then rebuilt, and we had ways and means, and I dare say sitting on Zoom right now is really taking me back to the days of COVID, where we did virtual tours with people who would be wanting to book for a wedding but not step foot in the venue, and we adapted by saying, okay, well, where your booking fee is normally non-refundable, we'll do so you can hold a date. You've got then 2 weeks once you're able to visit to come and decide if you'd like it. And yeah, we got through it with lots and lots of heads together moments, and lots of moments even over Zoom where we got together with different venues and chatted through, and there was various sort of platforms out there. Guides for Brides was an amazing business that put themselves in that advice sort of center, and gave us a space to go to and thrash out the ideas of what we could do. And yeah, it was a very strange time, lots of hard decisions to be made, but also it gave us time as a business maybe to to then slowly build and
Yeah.
yeah, so silver linings in every situation, even when they're not the best of situations.
Yeah, brilliant, brilliant, and resilience. I think is one of the common features that many people I speak to. It's that ability to keep going even when the going gets tough. And what would you say the biggest learnings you've got about growing a business? What are the things that stand out for you?
So honestly, I think one of the biggest learnings I would say from Thicket Priory, it even does take me back to when I said it was a 3-month process to get the job. Taking your time and getting it right is such a key part, because you can rush into
Absolutely.
things, you can jump at things and get it wrong, and it might A, cost you more time, B, cost you more money, C, cost you reputationally. There's things to think about, and if there's one thing that I would say has been a godsend in how Bruce has carried the business forward, he takes his time and does things right, and that's that's a really good thing for
Yes.
the team, and really lovely to know that there's so much care and passion and thought put into things that when we do make decisions, they're the right decisions, and
Yes.
that's been a really big learning curve, and I think that's what COVID gave us,
Yeah.
that sort of opportunity to start off on that footing, which was really good.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I work with lots of very driven people, and I often use the phrase "slow down to speed up," and it is that idea of they really just want to get stuff done, but how do you know you're going in the right direction if you don't take your time to take a breath and look up and see which way you're headed? We could be working really hard, but not necessarily in the right direction, and so
Yeah,
it's really keen to take a step back and just see, well, what, or even if you hit an obstacle. If we take a step back, we might see a different route past it or over it or around it. But if we're right up against it, then all we see is the obstacle. And again, we often see that with people. And speaking of coach, I know I think you're familiar. We're a business coaching organisation. I'm keen to
yeah.
know who the best coaches you've worked with, whether that's business, sport, life in general. Who's had the biggest impacts on you?
Yeah, so I mean, in terms of that, I go right back to my Marriott days, and I've talked about this quite often, where um, I'm still in touch with um, one of the first people that I saw as a mentor in
Brilliant,
my career,
brilliant.
and to the backstory on it, sort of getting into the Marriott graduate scheme, you go through a selection process.
Yep.
And it's I wouldn't go as far as saying it's like a boot camp, but essentially all the people who want to be on the graduate scheme go to a Marriott hotel, and there's everything from group discussions to individual things to places where they're just observing you maybe in a
Right.
conversational situation and seeing how you are as a leader. There's then also a moment where you're in a boardroom and you're given basically a business sort of snapshot, and everyone has a different business snapshot where you've got greens, reds, and ambers in different parts of the business, and you have to basically you're in a boardroom situation where there's someone at the end of the table acting very much like Alan Sugar,
Brilliant.
and they're asking you questions on this piece of paper in front of you, and you've got to hold your own in this meeting, and
Goodness.
it's very sort of on the spot.
Yeah.
But the person at the other end of the table, when we came out of that, we were like, oh my lord, she was on it, like she was very Alan Sugar, and we went through it. I got on the scheme, and then this was all while I was up in Newcastle, Gateshead. And then I get a letter through. I've been accepted on the graduate scheme, and I'm getting to go across to Leeds to work in a hotel, a country club over there. And then my first sort of interaction and getting into there, my lead, my sort of my direct manager would be the operations manager. And I walked through the door, and there's this lady who'd been at the end of the table.
Right. Oh my goodness.
And I'm like, oh, wow, okay.
Oh my goodness.
But fast forward a year of working with Christy, who was someone I had so much respect for and still do. She mentored me, she guided me, and I ended up where I was actually looking for accommodation, was looking for somewhere to live. she put me up. So I ended up not only being a work colleague and roommate, we became amazing friends. And fast forward on from that, with not even working with each other over the years, I went to hers and Chris's wedding, who was also another member of the Marriott team. And I dare say the day I do the same, I'd like to see them at mine as well. But she would leave management books for me, like the 7 Habits of Effective Management, like the core of a lot of management training. She would guide me in these directions and give me the information to really establish myself as a manager, and she'd help me through going from being a sort of working alongside my peers to then having to become a manager. That was some of the biggest learning curves, and I still have things that I'm learning with regards to working alongside your friends. That's such a hard part of business. But Christy would send lots and lots of cards that were encouraging from a sort of well done point of view, and like, you've done amazing. And like, she was just she I would say has made me who I am today by way of sort of the leader that I would say I am.
Wonderful. And I mean, obviously you're an amazing person, and whether from her or anyone else, do you find yourself using any quotes or sayings on a regular basis about business or success or life in general?
Yeah, I mean, I probably not so much from Christy, but I think from our team that we currently have, and very much part of our the way we built our business is everything happens for a reason, and there's the team and the way we've built them. It's been in a way that's so organic that it just feels like things happen for reasons. And I mean, Becca, who I spoke about earlier, us as the senior management team who've been there since basically the summer of 2019, and I originally asked her to come and work at Thicket for our very first friends and family event, and I'd worked with her at the Star Inn at Hareham, the Michelin star venue, and that's where I knew her from, and we'd worked together, and we'd got on like a house on fire. And my instinct was saying to me, she needs to be part of this amazing venue, but it wasn't the right time in her career and her life to have joined the team. And then eventually I was putting an advert out, and she contacted me, and I said, "Oh, is this because you've seen the advert?" And she was like, "No, what advert?" And it just felt so natural and organic. And we had a chat over an ice cream in Helmsley, and it was just so lovely. And then she joined the team, and it was sort of full steam ahead from there. And we've then got other team members who have been part of caterers who've worked for us, and then wanted a slight adaptation in what they're doing, and they've then fallen in love with Thicket and become part of the team. And also team members who've been part-time team members working while they were studying, and then come all the way through the ranks in terms of what they've learned, and becoming a full-time members of the team, and establishing their roles and creating roles that are unique to them. We don't have it that each role is almost pocketed into, this is what you do and this is your job role, like many businesses might have. We go with people's personalities, we grow with people's instinct, and like I say, everything happening for reasons. There's so many things that the business, it feels like it grows through that. So I think that's quite a big sort of saying that lots of us do sort of cling on to.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we talk a lot with people about, we call it the reticular activating system, a part of your brain that's looking, the subconscious is looking for things. And we say if you program it to look for the things that you want, they start to appear. So
manifesting it.
it is manifesting it, and often in your particular example, it was obviously that was just a coincidence, but often you see the people that you want to see, they're actually in front of us, but we weren't looking specifically for them or the opportunity so no, I could totally see how that would work. And you mentioned a couple of books that you'd already be recommended. I think the Seven Habits was one of them. But do you have any favorite books on business or success, or podcasts that you read or follow on a regular basis?
Oh, do you know what? I mean, I dare say I dabble in and out of various different things. And honestly, one of my biggest sources of sort of not reading as such, but getting information is through the venue groups that
Right.
I've sort of joined over the years, of knowing that we all then jump in and we find different sources of information through sort of lots of conversations. And I think I'm not a strong reader. I cannot deny that I'm not a strong reader. And books I've had over the years, I've sort of skim read some of them. I've got specific sections from them. I've audio booked them, and had it that I've learned from that. But
Yes.
sort of, yeah. Oh, you've put me on the spot there in terms of like naming specifics, but
All
there's
good.
there's various things I do pull from and sort of get information from. But I just love talking about things with people, and I think that's something we all kind of do within our business, and like to
Absolutely.
chat through things.
I think the key thing is being curious. Yeah, there's a great, I think the word curious is a brilliant word that successful people are always looking and having the open mind to think there still might be something. However good things may be, there may also be things I've yet to learn that would improve things further.
Definitely, and that's something that is definitely sort of Bruce's way of thinking, where he's always not wanting to stand still, not wanting to sort of settle as such,
Yes.
and sort of bring ourselves forward. And we've got a team of people who very much are in tune with trends, and in tune with, okay, needing to move forward. And I dare say I've maybe been a bit old school sometimes and could get a little bit stuck in my ways, and I think that's something as a manager that is quite a hurdle to overcome sometimes, where it's actually move forward and embrace new things, and don't have it that it's so scary to do that. And yeah, that's a recent learn that I think is really key to just making sure the business is always moving forward, and that we're not standing still.
Yeah, no, absolutely, because things change around us anyway. So it's like standing still literally is taking a step backwards for most businesses. There is a book, and there's a lot more to it than this, but the title was written by an amazing guy called Marshall Goldsmith, which just says what got us here won't get us there. And
Yeah.
it really is just, there's so much more in the book so I would recommend anyone to pick up and read it. But it is, just because we've got success to here doesn't mean the same processes, procedures, ways of operating is going to get us to the next level, because, as you say, things around us are changing anyway. So,
Yeah.
how people buy, how they find us, what they want, how we communicate, all that's changing. And obviously we're now in the new world of AI. That's going to totally change
Oh, I know.
so many different things.
Yeah.
Over the next couple
Yeah.
of years, it's going to be incredible. And I know, I'm keen to know what you've learned about yourself throughout your journey so far.
Yeah. I mean, learning about myself, and certainly through time at Thicket Priory, and becoming part of a Thicket Priory family as such, is there's been lots of learns, just kind of to do with what we've just said about adapting and changing,
Yeah,
and sort of being able to do that. But I actually went through quite a big challenge myself in June 2023, where I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and it was obviously quite life changing, to say the least. I
yeah,
used to have quite long hair, and I now have hair that's grown back, which was great. But this time last year, I was bald.
good.
But I have learned a great deal through that situation. In that, that yes, life is too short. I've definitely learned a little bit to do with that. But I really did learn that I don't just work because I need to work for money. I work because I love what I'm doing, and
Yeah,
there was very much a part of me that I recently actually had lots of conversations around the hospitality industry being quite quite badly reputationally battered by the fact that it can be long hours. You can be
Yep.
in a kitchen scenario where you've got chefs who, I mean, look at Gordon Ramsay. He's an old school chef that world of hospitality, and a film called Burnt with Bradley Cooper in, where again he's that really sort of characterful, aggressive style of chef, and that is an old school world, and even the hours you have to put in, and it's sort of having a reputation for burnout is something that came up in a conversation, and I actually flipped it on its head because I found that my work actually got me through the worst year of my life, and the team around me and how we do things got me through it. And yes, I had to take a step back operationally because of my immune system and not being able to sort of be around too many people, but I didn't take a step back from the business. I kept up with the accounts, I kept up with payroll, I kept up with planning with couples, I kept up all the things that I could that wasn't physically going to put myself in danger, because I had to put my health first there. And the team was so supportive of that it was amazing. And I ended up taking 2 days sick. That was it in the entire time. That was sort of part of my surgery. And honestly, I look at it, and the thing for me, I learned this industry is also an industry that has got so much community, so much sense of togetherness, that it wasn't just the team at Thicket, it was the suppliers we work with, it was the suppliers I've worked with over the last 2 decades, it was couples who have married recently, couples who were due to get married, and couples who I had ran their weddings a decade ago. And it just gave me this lovely sense of learning that yeah, I had a weird addiction to work that sounded very strange to have that spelled out to me during a counselling session, that I buzzed off it. I had endorphins that gave me so much to drive me forward. But then to reassess and adjust the way I did work and the way that I approached work and make it a more healthy relationship. And that was such a big part for me. So yeah, I learned quite a lot in the last 18 months.
Blimey, that's quite a period of time to wonderful.
Yeah.
And it's great, as you say, that not just your social your sort of family group, but your professional group, the business itself supported you so well. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And so looking forward a little bit, what does the future look like for you guys, and what challenges do you think you might face, if any?
Yeah, so obviously future of Thicket Priory, where we've slowly built, and that's what we've sort of said, it's been great to build the business slowly, gradually, but strongly. And we want to reach a point of knowing that we very much want to be at the top of our game. We want to know that we're talked about on a level that Thicket Priory delivers the best weddings in the UK, and I dare say even the world, because we get lots of international couples who come to us. We've got a base of couples who come from London. I mean, to give an example, we've had Chicago, LA, Dubai. We get Costa Rica. I've got coming up this year. We get people from all over the world, and there's a lovely connection with Yorkshire generally from a lot of the couples. But we just want to see ourselves continue to build that amazing sort of that reputation that we aren't just a wedding venue. We are something very special, and we're quite a hidden gem in our industry, and we don't want everybody to know about us. We like our inner circle of trust, and knowing that couples who get married with us, they tell other couples, they'll tell other friends who they trust with Thicket Priory, because they want to know that this special place that is now part of them, and they're part of our history now, that people go and come to us and respect it in the way that they did. And that's a lovely way to know that the future should see some of our couples coming back with their friends getting married. And we're certainly looking to sharpen an edge of getting a few more of these corporate events in place and at play, and maybe a few more branded names in the door, and get them sharing their stories with us, and
Yep.
and having this amazing space to do it in, that isn't just a blank canvas hotel conference room. We can provide them with so much more, and it would be really nice to build on that going forward.
Brilliant, brilliant. What an amazing future you got ahead of you. So that's absolutely wonderful. And I'm keen to know what you'd say to anyone that was thinking of going into business right now, Anna.
So, anyone thinking of going into business right now, I mean, within the wedding industry, I think the biggest piece of advice I have to give them is you cannot go in half-hearted. You have to commit. It is not about nice stationery and lovely, fluffy, flowery things. It's about getting your hands dirty, doing weddings, and being part of a team, and being part of this industry. You can't have people coming in who are expected to serve drinks on the bar, clean up after a guest has had far too much to drink, head into housekeeping and do the rooms, head out into the gardens and make sure that the grounds are looking amazing, answer phone calls, guide couples. You can't expect anyone to do any of these jobs without doing it yourself,
Yeah.
and without knowing that you have to be full in. And that is something that I would advise it. You've got to be committed. You've got to be sort of passionate about this industry, because I've seen people in the past who say, friends who've got married, and I look at their coordinator on the day, and I'm just looking at them thinking, you should be doing something else because you look so grumpy.
Yes, I totally get that. It's like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, and you just think, if you're coming into this industry, you really need to enjoy it. You need to throw yourself at it, and then just find the love in it. And I know that sounds so cliche and corny in the world of weddings, but you've got to be committed to the fact that it is to do with love. It is to do with bringing people together, and that's got to be part of who you are to be able to succeed, I would say.
I did. Yeah, I mean, no, it doesn't sound corny at all. In fact, I think, I would suggest it's true of any business. And then, obviously hospitality is probably a lot more social than some. But if you don't really love what you do enough, then it really becomes difficult. If I always say to people, if we can't answer the question, why am I doing this? Then we're in the wrong place. Why am I doing this? Because that'll happen. I mean, I'm sure it may have happened in what you do, but we have challenging times, and we need to be able to really quickly and easily answer a question: why I'm doing this, whatever the reasons are.
Yeah, we do. Definitely.
And finally, what would be the best advice you could give an 18-year-old you if you could go back in time and do that?
Oh, an 18-year-old me, try anything. Honestly, it's like when I look back at the jobs I was doing then, and when I was at uni, like I had 3 jobs when I was at uni, and that was in retail, it was in hospitality, it was in leisure. And I do think there's a generational shift from some of the youngsters out there who now really, oh, my hands are hurting, my feet are hurting, and they've been at work for an hour, and you think, I've been here for 10 hours, I'm twice your age, I could be your mother. I just really just soak in the people around you that you can learn from, and try anything, because you just don't know what it might be that you try, that then you find your direction.
Yes.
For a career. Yes. And be open to that, because I don't think it's as clear cut as study a subject, go to university to study another subject, and then find a career that guides from there. It's not as simple as that. And if you pigeonhole yourself so solidly, you might miss an opportunity that could see you become the you that is there in 20 years' time, thriving and loving what you're doing. And I think that's definitely the advice I would be giving myself at that point. Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, I think that's wonderful advice for anybody. So thank you so much for that, Anna. And it's been really delightful. And as I say, the passion for what you do and for Thicket Priory specifically is shines through. So it's
Yeah,
and I'd urge anybody watching right now, at the very least, go to the website and have a look at the venue. And it'd be great. It'd be great to come over there at some point and just
yeah,
see what's going on over there. Because from probably more from a corporate perspective, but it'd be great to be able to work with you guys at some point in the future.
yeah.
Um,
Perfect.
so,
No, thank you.
well, thank you so much. And just for anyone that's watching that would like to contact you or Thicket Priory, what's the best way of getting in touch?
Yeah, so best way, I mean, contacting Thicket Priory, if it's inquiries wise, email, you can email us, but essentially on the website, there's a contact us form there. But the world we're now in, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, it's all there. You can contact us via any means. And obviously, if you are old school and you are not afraid of picking up the phone, which I dare say Gen Z are frightened of that now, but if you're old school, pick up the phone, give us a call. The number's on the website for you to be able to give us a ring, and the team will happily chat away to you.
Brilliant. Well, look, it'd be great to swing by another 6, 12 months and just see how the next stage of development has gone. But for now, thank you so much for your time.
Oh, you're very welcome. Lovely to meet you, Chris. And yeah, it's been great to talk to you.
And you.